How's life, man? It's great to talk to you again. How's life?
My initial was J Hood. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Everything is
I'm
good, man.
great.
Good to be on with you again. How's it? I'm glad that you out here doing your solo dolo thing, busted open. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm just sitting. I'm just filling in. I need to
Oh,
know what's up with you before we get into business. I need to know what's up with you because you fans, you got to be able to follow Kenny on Instagram. Okay, as I mentioned before, you're a man of means. Okay, you got a lot of money and you're a man of means. People know who you are. For the idea that you're in the kitchen trying to flip eggs. I mean, I know that you have people doing this for you. You've got chefs. You got people waiting on you hand and foot. Could you explain to me why? Why a man of your ilk, a future Hall of Famer, is flipping eggs in his own kitchen? What's up with that?
because somebody told me I couldn't do it. Simply put, like I now, mind you, I like to cook. I get down in the kitchen. I like to cook. It's a therapeutic. It's a very it's something that I've really learned to love to do. So I like to cook my own meals. But I've always been one of those. If you want to turn your eggs, you got to flip it with a spatula.
Yeah.
And my daughter was like, "Dad, you can't flip those eggs." And I was like, "Who can't flip what eggs?" Uh, right? Because one of them ended up directly on the burner. She was out.
So,
I could not flip the eggs.
it's amazing, man. Your own family is challenging you. Do they know that you are the king? I mean, what is up with that? So you, of course, like Michael Jordan, of course, you're going to take that challenge. You took it personally.
Taking that bet every time. Taking that bet every single time.
It's so ridiculous, man. Could you tell me what the latest is of Impact Wrestling? I think it's amazing. It's a great testament to being able to have resolve, to have over 1,000 episodes, and for this company to continue to keep ticking. What are your thoughts about the current state of the business of Impact Wrestling business?
Man, I just think that that Impact is literally the best kept secret in pro wrestling right now. Top to bottom, the roster is fantastic. We have the best women's division in all of professional wrestling. And if you look at the members of the roster and each from the heavyweights to the X division to the tag, we stack up and we match up in every single category. So it is just one of those things where the people, our fans, are absolutely in the middle of just watching some fantastic wrestling, and we're just pulling more eyes every single time that we're out. Trinity has done amazing things for just her fan base and just the people that love her. Now are Impact fans. You know what I mean? It's one thing to just be fans of something or someone or a brand when they switch teams or when they switch brands or whatever. But Trinity's fans, which were Trinity's fans, have now become Impact fans. So that's just a testament to what we got going on here and how we just go hard every single show.
Yeah, I do have a bone to pick though because I had real thug tears when you lost your championship to Tommy Dreamer. Okay, Kenny, listen, I know a championship does not define you. You define you, but that can't happen, man. Please explain why.
And I'm still waiting on my rematch. I'm still waiting on the instant replay shows that Heath came out. So listen. Sometimes politics get in the way of things. Tommy Dreamer may, and again, this is Tommy's channel. So I don't know if you've noticed that Tommy certainly ain't been on Busted. They've been talking about, oh, I got to give Ken King his rematch. He's scared about his skin teeth, all the help in the world. You know what I mean? It might as well brought the damn White Plains National Guard out to help him. So it was in the cards. Sandman must have spiked my. They're all back there. All these ECW dudes are back there. So I think it was a collective. Devon and Bubba might have spiked my oil.
Yes.
And it's a collective. They just wanted to see Tommy win, but it's all good, baby. We'll get that back.
Yeah, I believe all of that, by the way, because and if nothing else, Kenny King is a giving man. There's
Oh
no
yeah,
question that you're a giving man because I mean, real thug tears. I'm watching on my screen. I'm just like, that can't happen, man. That can't happen. But again, a championship does not define you. I just need to know what your future is because it's interesting about factions, right? When factions are in wrestling, someone's supposed to spin out of there and be the next star or the next person in line for a championship. What about now, as far as factions in Impact Wrestling?
I mean, it's an interesting time because usually Impact Wrestling's got a bunch of factions, a bunch of gangs running around here. It's like damn LA. But
Right.
but this has been a time where it's not really like that. There's a lot of two-man squads. Obviously, you got Bullet Club or whichever version of Bullet Club we got here.
Hmm.
if it's Bullet Club Unlimited or Bullet Club Silver, whichever version. But we got, Chris Bay and Ace Austin. They do their thing representing Bullet Club. But it's you got a lot of two-man squads. You got Moose and Myers. You've got Raj and Shira. So it's not a whole lot of 4 or 5 man groups. It's not back in the BDC days when you got a 4-man killer group.
Oh man.
So it's more of more localized focus squads. I think Honor No More was the last big faction in Impact. Shout out to Honor No More.
Kenny King is with us on Busted Open. Jonathan Hood in for Mark and Denise right here on Sirius XM Fight Nation Channel 156. Bound for Glory is right around the corner. I expect you to be on that card. I expect to see you in Chicago. You will be there. I talked to the powers that be. I expect you to be on that card. Will you be on that card for Bound for Glory?
Ain't no question. I'm already signed for Bound for Glory. You'll see me. It's the biggest show of the year. And if you don't have Kenny King on the biggest show of the year, then somebody need to have their head checked. So, maybe, who knows? Maybe Tommy Dreamer will grow a pair and give me my rematch because, it's in my contract. Everybody seems to forget about that. So we don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can politic my way to getting in that Alex Shelley versus Josh Alexander match, since politicking is the way to go around here.
Oh yeah, well I'm gonna hashtag that to death to make sure that you're in that match. We got to
Mm-hmm.
get you on that platform, man. I'm a fan. Many people are a fan listening to Busted Open, so we got to get you there. As far as I want to talk about your start in the business into where you are right now, as far as African American wrestlers in the business, what's the difference between when you first started and now regarding the growth of black wrestlers, men and women in the business?
I think the biggest thing is when I first started, if you were going to a company, really indie or otherwise, and it's weird that you had to do this, but you had to look and see what other black talent was there. You had to look and see how many, because there was not a quota, but there was a quota. If there was 4 or 5 black dudes already there, chances are you're not getting on.
Mm-hmm.
So that has not been a thing. It is really, and I think that is the thing that has opened up everything else, right? Because if you have an influx of talent, no matter how many it is, if you are allowing talent to just come in and shine, then that talent's going to shine. They're going to raise to other levels, and they're going to raise awareness, and it's just going to open the door and open the door. So it's self. I don't want to say a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it perpetuates itself. That's what I'm trying to say. It perpetuates itself because it's one person opens the door for if it wasn't for a Devon, a D-Lo, Farouk and there wouldn't have been a Kenny King. Maybe if there wasn't a Kenny King and a Jay Lethal, there wouldn't have been a Chris Bay and a Lee Moriarty. So these things are coming a lot quicker generationally than they did when I first broke in.
Kenny, you've done everything in the business, and the one thing in our conversations I failed to ask you is like, what else do you want to do in the business after this? Like, as you wrestle, as you're still in your prime, you can do this for forever. Is there anything else that you want to accomplish in the business that you have not done yet?
Lord have mercy. My knees don't know we can do this forever, so I don't know who you would.
Well, TV does tricks, though. I mean, as I watch TV, you still look like the guy I used to pay to see in Chicago at ROH. So
Ridge, shout out to Chicago Ridge, baby.
yeah, it's nothing like Chicago Ridge to see Kenny King go from the weight room to like the one shower across in the back of the fans, just with his flip flops. That's it, just to sneak by while a match was going by in Chicago Ridge. Outstanding.
Those are the good old days. I think that it's just about broadening horizons. It's about looking at things and say, okay, I've done this. What else is a major thing that I feel like I need to do? And so when I look at one of the things that I think would be the major thing is I'd like to wrestle in Japan. Never wrestled in Japan, and I'd like to complete the big arena thing. So I've gotten. So I was talking to Bully Ray. And the only arena that I've competed in that Bully Ray has competed in that I have not competed in, I think I think Jericho has called this the holy circuit of pro wrestling arenas, but Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, ECW Arena, Madison Square Garden, Arena Mexico in Mexico City, and the Tokyo Dome. And the only one I don't have, Bubba, is the Tokyo Dome. So Tiger Hattori, New Japan Pro Wrestling, let's make this happen.
Wow. that you have wrestled a lot of different places. And those are holy grail spots that you just mentioned, and you've been all over the world. Wow.
100%. So the Tokyo Dome is, I think, that completes the infinity gauntlet of legendary arenas.
Man, that's awesome. Okay, so we're getting on the precipice of cuffing season, and it's hoodie season as well. And of course, guys, if you have a hoodie, because it's fall, protect your hoodie at all possible. You got to be able to protect your hoodie because she will take your hoodie. You will not see it again until the spring. So as you could give that advice as well, right? It is hoodie season, is it not
Oh,
in the fall?
it is definitely hoodie season. See, I got my joint on lock here, right? On my body. You know what I mean?
It's cuffing season as well. I like for you to give some, as we always talk about, you need to give advice to these dudes here in the black t-shirts, the wrestling fan that needs some help as far as trying to talk to women.
Oh man, stop listening to these idiots on these podcasts, fellas. Stop listening to these guys, these fresh and fit idiots, these dudes that don't have no. I mean, come on. Let's be honest. If you look at these dudes on the fresh and fit, what experience they got with women?
Right.
So that's the problem. You have a lot of guys with a lot of opinions and a lot of ideas of what women are that don't have any actual experience with women. So stop listening. That's the number one thing. Stop listening to these guys. These guys don't know what the hell they're talking about. Find an OG. Talk to your dad. Talk to your uncle. Find an OG. And you know what? Like, women are not the scary, crazy thing. Talk to them. Be nice to them. Talk to them. Find your common interests. Find commonality. And you know what I mean. Don't worry about stupid nonsense body count and all this other garbage that dudes are just.
Wait a minute. Just a second. Did you say body count? Is that what
I
you
did.
said?
I've had these conversations before where dudes are like, "Oh man, so if she's got a body count, what's her name? What does she like to do? Does she read? Like, what do you want? You worrying about the wrong things, bro." So that is unfortunately what I've been, in the younger circuit. I got students that I train, and I got a young squad. Shout out to Lights Camera Faction in Las Vegas, a young squad that I lead. So I'm trying to lead these dudes out of the alpha male podcast genre into some actual like experience.
And lastly, I know that you have you have a lot of things, on the dresser that, for smell good. Is in particular product that you'd like to promote for wrestling fans so they could smell good when they meet an opposite sex? You have to have
Let's
something. Yeah.
start with deodorant. Let's start there. That's a major one. Let's start with deodorant. Right? That'll work.
Such a freaking heel. Such a heel. You did not have to go there with the Old Spice. You did not have to hit him with that. Why did you do that, Kenny King? Why?
I'm just saying, let's start at the basics, baby. So you can't run where you can walk, right? You start spraying. If I tell you to put on some Aqua di Gio or some Armani Emporio, and you got green vapors coming underneath your arm, you're gonna disrespect everything, right? So let's start with the basics. Wash your butt, throw some deodorant on, and then go get you. Here's what I'll give you. I'll give you three. Armani Emporio. Let's go. What is that? Bulgari Blue, and then go. Let's go Blue Day Chanel. Can't miss. Killers.
Could you imagine, man, the wrestling fans when they get an autograph from you and they start smelling like one of those three things? You got to give them props. If they come up to you and be like, "Oh, I know that's that fragrance. Good job," right?
Chanel, you were listening. See, you're gonna do all right today, bud.
See, that's Kenny King. He just gave you free advice, folks. For cuffing season, the holidays around the corner, you got to be able to smell good. You look good. I mean, Deion Sanders is telling you that all the time, right? Look good, feel good, smell good. Good wrestling fan.
All the time. That's so everybody who picks up that free game, go buy a Kenny King shirt. Let's just let's keep this thing. Let's reciprocate.
Don't forget Impact Wrestling. You can watch it on Access TV, but don't forget Bound for Glory coming up in October. Make sure if you can't get there, watch it on pay-per-view. Impact Wrestling, Bound for Glory in October. Kenny, it's been my pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Always good talking to you, J Hood. I'll see you next time.
All right, it is Kenny King with us here on Busted Open. Coming up, we'll get a chance to talk about the weekly winner